And we're live.
We are
Happy Sunday
live.
afternoon, everybody.
Of course, we always say that, and nobody's even in when we say that. You realize?
Yeah. We'll have to get it on the replay, I guess.
Let me get to the channel here. Give you a view. Sunday afternoon live. 2 watching, me and you. So now I'll throw the thumbs up. Go ahead and give you the thumbs up there.
Thanks, buddy.
Put it on.
Hey, Morris Homestead. How you doing?
Let's see. So apparently my grandson and daughter are coming up here because they got another Category 3 storm getting ready to cross right across Florida. So,
wow.
So they're going to get out of there and come up here for a few days, I think.
I won't complain about our weather then. I've had a really bit windy weekend, but windy yesterday, really bad. I mean, not like the storm down your way, but boy, it was windy yesterday. I took the day off. I got some rest yesterday. So the only thing I did was went to one of my out yards to take the pails off so they didn't blow away. And that was challenging in the wind.
Chasing them down.
Well, I pulled the pail off, and then sometimes there's some bees under it, and the bees couldn't kind of go against the wind to get down the hole. So you should have seen it. I was there picking bees off the cover and throwing them down the hole.
One at
a time, picking bees off, throwing them down the hole.
This is what? Brad in a jacket?
Yeah, me in a jacket, and it's cool right now. It's definitely single digits here.
It is like 80 degrees out today.
I'm not only in a jacket, I'm in long pants.
We're starting to get that whole up and down thing. So it's like 61 at night and 82 during the day. So like 20-degree swings every day. So it's kind of starting that. Yeah, usually by next week or so we get our first, like, hey, I need to be wearing a jacket like Brad or something outside. I was just out insulating in Hefton Highs 5 minutes ago. I need to go in my colonies. I have not been. I've been neglecting. But I've been like really sick all week. And I still have it. But not sick enough to not go to work. I've still been going to work. Working the full shift. And if you've ever worked, when you get sick and you got that, I just want to lay in bed, that you're just like weak, but you have to make yourself go through the day. Look at this old man.
Wow.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Got his old band filter on. His Father Time filter.
I've been wide awake since 3 o'clock this morning, so I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
I feel like Bob.
No.
Well,
I feel like 100 pounds of poop in a 50-pound sack. But hey, you notice my hair is getting longer.
I noticed that.
Growing it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Trying to get the little combage, the comb overage going on.
How come your hair's so dark? Are you coloring that?
Yeah, what the heck?
That's my normal color. It's just that when it's real short, you can't see the color, I guess, the tint.
My hair used to be a really nice, rich red.
Get the gray through here, though. And even shaved.
Yeah.
Because I had a gray beard, too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this before I go
You
to
get
work.
rid of it?
Yeah, I'm tired.
That's about the length of beard, Todd, that I can't stand. I have always a stubble here, but boy, when it gets to anywhere near that, it drives me bonkers.
Well,
mine, just down here when it starts to itch.
It up here is what gives me fits because I can taste coffee and throughout the day and stuff.
Tasting what you had for lunch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I had.
I don't remember that. Hey, Norman. Yeah, just a little Sunday afternoon live stream.
You're all bundled up. Is it cold up there?
I am. It's actually cool. yeah, it's fairly cool. It's very sunny. The sun is very warm, so it's not too bad. But it's a little
Wow.
breeze, and sitting here in the shop, I got the
Oh.
door open, so it's cool.
I just messed up.
It's supposed to be 104 today, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
Hey, Randy.
104 still in October?
yeah, it was 106 on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. It broke a record. It's never been that hot in October. Right now it is. Then wait. Right now it's only 94. It's 12:30.
Well, Norman says it's 104 outside. He's near Chicago.
Ooh, yikes!
That's hot for there.
It's
Yeah.
hotter than it is here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just outside doing some work outside, and Bob said, "Hey, let's do it live." So I need to can't stay too long. I have to get in the honey house and start wrapping up in there.
So I don't know if people know. Actually, I did get it to stream to my YouTube channel, so we might get some more. What did you end up with? Have
Well, I
you
don't
told
know
everybody on the live stream?
exactly. We've still got some in the tank. So, but it's definitely over 11,000.
Nice.
So I'm ecstatic. I never dreamed that I'd be saying that.
You have 11x my honey crop, but not 11x the bee colonies. So my bees aren't mathing correctly.
What do I got? 4 times as many bee colonies? Something like that?
No, I mean it. Well,
What do you? I don't even know how many.
well,
I
right
have.
now maybe, but I'm saying that like you had. What was the max that you had this year? Like 150, right?
150 or so, 140, 150.
So you're like three times the bees, but 11 times the production.
That's just the area. That's just the way it goes. And my yields are pretty low too. For a Manitoba. Manitoba average is 175 pounds or something like that. And one of my yards I think averaged 165, and I've never gotten a yield like that ever in 9 years. Usually I'm 100 to 120 per here, which I realize in a lot of places that's a fantastic yield. For Manitoba, it's not. People would call that a crop failure, but I also don't get $10 a pound for my honey. So there's that, right? I have to sell twice as much honey to make a buck.
All right. Well, you make more per pound than the average Manitoba beekeeper.
Well, yeah, because I'm selling directly either to a store or to the retailer or to the customer. So I'm making $4 a pound net, right?
Right.
With all of my what they call cost of goods sold, I'm getting $4 for the honey, so that all of the handling and the packaging and packing and that's all on top of the $4. And sometimes I get more than that. And the smaller packages, you make more money per pound. You just don't sell as many pounds, right? So it's just a different model. It's like Ian can produce over twice as much honey as I can, and then he's selling it in the barrel for $2.50.
Over twice as much. So you're saying like 30,000 pounds. He makes more than that, right?
Well, no, I'm saying per colony, his yield, not his crop.
I get it. I get it.
So a good beekeeper around here, and I don't know exactly what Ian's yields are. Don't quote me on that, but
No.
I do know that a good beekeeper around here who concentrates on canola, which produces a lot of honey, can make pretty easily 250 pounds. And I've heard of crops from time to time coming in 350 and more 400 pounds, 500 pounds on occasion. But usually if you're on a good canola crop, you'll probably get, definitely north of 200 pounds.
So I just
250 pounds is not that hard.
I need to come find a canola field, 2 hives, 50 boxes,
Yeah.
and I can and I can hit what I get here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's about the business model that works in your area too, right? So that's pretty drastic difference, right? Like Todd's different than me, and I'm way different than you, right? And this fella here is different than all of us.
And we're thankful for that. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Gentlemen.
So what are my numbers? Were you listening to my numbers, Doug? Am I off there? That's pretty reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, you were right on until we hit this year.
Yeah. This year was tough for a lot of people. Was that that was the cold spring, wasn't it?
Kind of a combination of things, Brad. Cold and wind for June, and then we hit July. We had heat, so canola crop.
Yeah.
Instead of flowering for
dry.
3 weeks, 5 to 7 days, maybe, eh?
Right. Yeah, it was pretty dry. and that's a difference too with my crop is because it's not a 100% natural crop necessarily. It's hayland, it's marsh, that sort of things. But there's more variety of flora here where I am. So if it's a wet year and canola doesn't do as well, I'm still good because there's something is going to bloom. If it's a dry year and the canola is not going to do as well, I'm still good because there's something is going to bloom. The nectar sources of my honey change from year to year. They don't change. The dominant nectar source changes from year to year because of the weather. But the amount of nectar and the amount of honey produced doesn't vary that much for me. And I'm really thankful for that, even though my yields are fairly, relatively small. I can always kind of depend on what I'm going to get. So that
still blows my mind. Relatively small yield, 11,000 pounds.
Well, that's a crop, though. That's not a yield. The yield is.
I mean, per colony.
I don't know what it was, 130 pounds the yield, 120 pounds the yield. So, which is good. I'm happy with that.
I could, if I got that kind of crop, I could take the next 10 years off and just sell honey for 10 years.
That's what I always wanted to do. I wanted to work this business for 20 years and retire with 50,000 pounds of honey in the shed and just sell that for the next few years. But
Doug's laughing at that one.
But my honey sells too fast, so I can't ever get any extra, can't get any reserve.
It's good problems, though.
Well, yeah, good problems. I produced 12,000 pounds of honey last year, and I packed the last of it 6 weeks ago. Right, so I didn't expect it was going to go quite that fast. Maybe my prices are too low.
The thing I envy with you, Brad, you can still extract in September.
Well, that's a big advantage. The lack of canola nectar really frees me up. It doesn't whip me as much, and I'm so thankful for that because it's such a stressful and exhausting time for me that I don't need that other whip.
Let me see.
Hey, Darren.
Said he just jumped on the internet for a minute to look up some information, stumbled upon a line. It's good to see me again. Well, hey, 2 weeks ago, my best friend's father passed away. And then for about a little over a week, I've been fighting being sick. So we do what we can do. I actually did reach out to Joey this week because I knew Brad was at a meeting and let him know, hey, I'm not going live. So I think he filled in Tuesday night. So Let me see. Tom says he still has 500 pounds left to bottle and sell.
Well,
I think I've got about 300 pounds left to bottle. So I'm letting I'm starting with some of the first ones that I bottled. I'm starting to see that little sludge in the bottom of the bottle. So I'm starting to cycle those into the warmer for a day or two and then back out again before I start bottling fresh stuff. So, but it's
I took my first 500 pounds from this year's crop on Friday to pack. So I'm packing that already.
Doug says he's done until next year.
I washed the creamer out the other day. She's put away for the winter.
Wow. I should send you some honey to cream.
How much did you end up with over there, Doug? How much honey?
Creamed honey?
Well, how much honey did you harvest this year?
I don't really know. I never totaled it all up. About a half of a normal crop. A little better than a half a normal crop.
Wow.
I just finished creaming. I got about 7,000 pounds I creamed.
That's that's interesting numbers to me. I'm just like amazed. You look at our little dinky crops down here.
Nah, it's all relative. Everybody's got a different situation. You got a day job. I don't have a day job, so that's what I do. So
I didn't though. So that's that's the last few weeks.
But your model is sideline, right? Your model is hobby to sideline kind of thing, and regardless if you had a job or were looking for a job, that's your model. So no, I don't ever.
So what I should have been doing
special, and somebody else isn't, because
when I didn't have a job, I should have been out there with the whip cracking on the girls. Go get it. Bring it back. So, but with the out yard now, those last time I was out there was last Saturday, and it was they were flying. They were doing. I mean, I didn't break them open because I was on the way to that wake, and I had to pass the road the apiary was on. So I'm like, you know what? It was right after the storm. Let me just drive in there and check to see if they're all upright, and they were. The power company was out there putting lines back up, and I said, yeah, just right there is like bees. So if you got to go back in there, just be careful. And oh no, we're done. Okay, we saw them. We stayed away. So
especially Bob's bees.
Yeah, my bees. They have a tendency.
My bees, you can go in and sit on the hive and have your lunch if you want.
Eat a sandwich. They're just flying.
Yeah, it's like
out between your legs while you're eating your peanut butter and jelly. Let me see.
Yeah.
Northern Minnesota, poor year, 12 production hives, only 552 or 522 pounds. Should have been over 1,000. That's, I don't know. I see. Honestly, I can't. I'm so new. When I say so new, I mean over half a decade is still new in beekeeping, because like Brad said several times, it's like you only do everything once or twice a year. So you might have done something 5 or 10 times. In over 5 years, while you're getting established, you're trying different things and requeening and doing.
You're going to do it wrong for the first 2 or 3 years.
Well,
right? And then, you only get to try it so many times.
You're sitting there and you have a good year. Well, was it a good year because of nature, or did I do something right last year which helped lead into this year? Or, you just don't know until you've repeated it a few times, right?
So many variables. Like I was going to mention, there was one little thing I did this year. There was a guy, he's a Manitoba beekeeper, and he does Facebook, and I asked him a question. He had some ventilated tops on his hives for the honey flow. And I said, I asked him about that, and he said, yeah, you get more honey if you ventilate the top. Okay. Well, this year, because it was really hot here for a while, like the sun was so hot on those hives that I actually put a little shim in the top of the lid just under the lid, and all it did was make a small upper entrance, right, somewhere that they could fan, and I could see the bees there, and they were at that entrance fanning air. So I don't know if that yielded a little more honey. Maybe it did.
Well, maybe it helped them dehydrate it down a little bit too.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Just kind of helps the process a little faster, and I don't know. It's a sample size of one, so you don't know if that was it or not.
Charlie went through the whole under super, over super thing, and he said he didn't notice a difference. He said if there is a difference, it's so minimal that it's not worth the extra work to keep continuously lifting the boxes.
It's not. I did that 1 year too, and I soon found out why it is not worth it. You go to a hive and you think, well, how's the honey flow going? Does this hive need another super? Well, you don't know, because normally you just open the lid and you look at a frame or two, and yeah, okay, know. You can't do that, because every hive you go to, you lift the lid and the super's right full.
That's I don't usually have that problem of it being just slam full. I usually have time that when I open it up, I can be like, okay, well, next week they might be ready for a box,
Come back in a week, eh?
Yeah.
I open the lid and it's like, I should have been here a week ago.
Yeah.
And then they swarm.
I don't have those issues. And typically in the spring, I mean, for us, our spring starts in January, first week of February, starting to get warm enough to where the bees are consistently flying. We got some small blooms or whatever, but that's my biggest time, right? I have to make sure I manage them really well early so they don't swarm. And I don't typically get that early swarm. If it does, it's kind of a fluke or a nuke or something like that. But I don't usually my deeps don't usually swarm, because either they're so slow building up or they're so slammed that I go ahead and make those splits or that I need to do then, and usually don't have an issue. But, maybe next year will be different. But so far I haven't had that problem. It only took me 1 year to figure that out. Hey, manage them early or they're going to hit the trees.
I'm still learning that. Like I'm still not good at that.
Well, early for you is July.
Come July and they all start hitting the trees. It's like, man.
I'm pulling my honey off and yours are starting to swarm.
Yeah. It sucks. And then they swarm late, and then they're done because they can't get momentum going again. The swarm doesn't work out, and the colony doesn't requeen properly. It just is not a good situation.
I had someone call me for stingless bee honey. I'm like, I don't even think stingless bees, are they like native to here? I don't think they're native to here at all.
That's Australia.
Yeah. He called me. Do you have it? I should have said, sure I do. I've got 1,000 pounds of it. How much do you want?
Isn't that dorsata? Isn't that dorsata?
I know they're stingless if you don't get stung by them.
Well, they bite though.
Yeah.
I think they bite. They don't sting, but they bite.
That's
poison, right?
Oh, you went Doug.
Oh.
We lost Doug.
Lost Doug.
My big issue right now is robbing, and I haven't had a robbing problem in 3 or 4 years.
You need some nice cold weather.
See Russell's comment there?
It's pretty hot over here.
Russell said his 12 production hives made 1,400 pounds. Last year, 9 made 2,100.
Wow.
So that's pretty good. So
same problem as Doug.
So that's what I'm kind of. I'll admit it. I was the numbers guy until this year. I think you finally heard me say I don't care how many I get. If you're in it for honey and selling honey, then that's what matters. How much honey can I produce? If I could produce that honey with less colonies, I'm net better off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I I have to watch, like, I have to watch those numbers just so that I know how to run my business, right? But I don't dwell on them at all. I do the best I can do, and what
Right.
ends up in the pail ends up in the pail, and
Well,
that moderates and dictates how my business operates. And the only thing that it's really done to me is it's meant that I don't go out and do a bunch of marketing. I don't visit new stores and say, "Hey, would you carry my product?" We don't even do any markets anymore to get, product market share and all those kind of things, because it just sells. And
right.
and so, and I'm not, I'm trying not to boast about it, but I kind of like doing I kind of like going to stores and saying, "Hey, who's the manager?" and go talk to the manager and get in a new store and a new experience and new clientele and stuff. But I can't do any marketing. Really.
Right.
It's
Well,
it's
I mean,
it's
I
annoying
think
that
it,
my business is doing so well.
I think it became a theme on the stream, and not only our stream, other streams. I see it as a theme. How many colonies do you have? That's like the first question, right? How many colonies do you have? Everybody, if you got 10, you want 20. If you got 20, you want 50. If you got 50, you want 150, right? It's just everybody's like chasing a number. And this year, I didn't care about that number. That number, matter of fact, I wouldn't have got to the number. It was not my desire to get to 65, 70 colonies. The only reason I even tried that was because I had queens that were coming late in the year, and I had to make splits to take care of these queens. Otherwise, I would have been just happy with the 40 to 50 that I had. And if 40 to 50 makes me 1,000 pounds of honey or 2,000 pounds of honey,
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I just try to do the best I can, and my problem is I can run way more colonies in June than I can run in September,
right.
right? Uh, and I get myself in trouble. So I've got to start tempering that earlier in the season so that I can keep up with the workload in September. Because if I don't keep up with the workload in August, September, October, all my bees die, and then I'm way worse off. So I might as well just kind of play the middle
And
ground.
feed, right? Feed, treatments, all that stuff.
Feeding colonies that are going to die, boy, that's a waste of money, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get your work done and you get them fed, you've poured $30 a piece minimum, and then treatments on top of that into that colony, it's just going to die. That's just money down the road.
You would be better, in my opinion, you would be better for those colonies to go ahead and die.
Yeah.
In the spring, spend your $30 on a new queen.
Right.
Make a split and start a brand new colony in the spring.
Right. And that's why I don't mess with colonies late in the season. If a colony's not getting it by, early to mid-August, they're done. I don't do anything with them. I'll shake them out. I'll combine them. To me, shakeouts are combines because that's just what happens, right? And I don't do combines because I don't want to make another double or something like that. It's too late in the season. So, that's exactly why I don't mess with a colony that's not getting it by, mid to late August. If they're not performing, you're just going to die by spring anyway. So why would I bother wasting time, effort, and money on that? It doesn't make any sense. So shake them out, let them join another colony. They can help out something that's, has a good chance of making it. And like you say, put that money toward queens and whatnot in the spring.
It's kind of interesting when you do a shakeout, how bees will just join another colony.
Yeah.
However,
nice.
if they have their own hive and they go to another colony, there's a fight that ensues, right? But when there's no queen, no home, they just
I
Let
think
them
they
right.
get a different mindset. I think they get a different mindset when they've got nowhere to live. It's okay.
I wonder if it's a pheromone thing, or they're humbled. They come with their head down, shaking.
Take their hat off and
Yeah,
say, please, sir,
take me to your leader.
please let me in the door.
Let me see. I had more hives than I wanted, so I tried to knock down the queen cells. It didn't work. Mid-June and July was when I had the most of my swarms with honey supers on. You know, that's weird because, and I've always been told, I haven't had this issue, but I've always been told that once the flow starts, that swarming instinct kind of goes away because they're just collecting.
Not here. I think
Not
that's
there.
I think that must be a hey Joey, must be
Hey,
a
Joey.
regional thing because I hear that too from very knowledgeable, experienced beekeepers. So I don't think it's a universal axiom.
Russell said, not this year. It was different. What's your shirt say there?
What's up, Mr. Ross?
How y'all doing?
GWRR what?
Oh, wingding.
Brad,
Oh, you're a wing rider, are you?
Oh, bad
Here you go.
signal. There he is.
Your bandwidth must be a little low.
Can't hear you, Joey.
I used to ride a wing years. I sold it a number of years ago, but
For Gold Wing
Gold Wings, it's a
Association or something?
yeah, it's a big meet
Gold
that
Wing
they
Road
have
Rider.
every summer.
We heard something and then didn't hear nothing.
Let me check and see which internet I'm on here.
You sound fine now.
Yeah, you're good now. It sounds.
Now he's going to change it to the bad one.
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. So here but yeah, so I mean, I really haven't done much with my bees, you know. What I will say is I got a bunch of crap about putting on pollen sub on those colonies out there
Oh yeah.
when there was some beetles in there. But let me tell you this, not one of them patties didn't get totally devoured. And when I put the Appy tablet right next to the patty, didn't seem to have any problems. Look at them Louisiana.
The guard bees for the door right there.
Right next to the door.
Yep.
Hey, you should put a sign on it that says, please put your packages inside when you deliver.
Good security system.
Yeah.
That's actually a fake door.
Oh.
You know, it would be funny though if you put a box on top with another lid, and when people came to deliver your Amazon packages, you have them lift up the top and drop it in and close it back down. Nobody would ever steal your packages off your porch.
That's true.
I don't think you'd get any deliveries either.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't get any deliveries.
Packages would be out in the front, right by the curb or on the street.
It's me again, Joey.
It's me again, Joey.
Brad, I come on to tell you. Go ahead and leave y'all alone. Let you go back to your chat. I watched your video the other day, the last video you posted.
Yeah.
And I was about to comment on it, and I got interrupted and never did get to come back and tell you. But you was mentioning the production that you had and what all had happened and everything. And I even mentioned this on the chat the other day. But I just wanted to say that the production you had this year, I don't know if I got exactly what you said, but it was something about different things happening. But I think a lot of it has to do with the beekeeper too. And I think that has a lot to do with a good production like you had this year after what you went through. And I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, yeah, I think that's one of the variables for sure, right?
Yeah.
If you let all your colonies swarm off and they're too weak to make honey, then that's definitely going to affect your crop. There's just so many variables. I appreciate that. I don't consider myself a real good beekeeper, though. I struggle so much. Boy, I struggle a lot.
Mine always comes down to workload to time.
Yeah.
Right? Like you see my yard. I guarantee you I don't like my yard looking like Sanford and Son. It's like that because I have time, and that time can either be used to clean up that yard,
Yeah,
or actually work the bees. So
hey,
if there's
Jose,
Jose's in the neighborhood.
Jose, welcome.
So I always have to make a decision, and we talked about this the other day. Sometimes I make a decision based on what I feel like doing, or putting something off to I'll just get to it tomorrow, and then tomorrow doesn't happen, or something more pressing comes up.
I have a hard time when things aren't all on fire, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, which fire am I going to put out tomorrow, or try to put out? And it's getting to the season where now I'm starting to be able to do the things that I need to do instead of just putting out fires all the time.
Right.
But I still have to stay vigilant with it. I have to finish up in the honey house. I took yesterday off, so I'm slacking a little bit today. I did do some work outside, but I got to get in there and finish up in there. I got my comb honey to cut still, and to wash everything down, put everything away. And then I need to do some mite washes. I need to do some OAV, and then I need to move bees as well. So there's just still things to do.
You put a lot into a 6-day work week this week, then.
6 day, yeah, it was a 6-day work week this week. Yeah, so I took some time off.
Yeah,
but I guarantee you, even with that day off, you probably did something pertaining to your business. Whether it was send an email, invoice, or something, right? It's never 100%.
Oh, always.
Yeah. So
there's never, it's a farm, right? People phone me, say, "Are you open?" Because I'm a farm. Like, what do I get? I don't close.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Amy gets so mad because, like, yesterday, someone pulled up, and I've been sick, so I was laying in bed watching college football, and someone just pulls up the front and just starts leaning on the horn, right? And she comes in there to get herself together to come out there. So you might as well forget it. By the time you get out there, they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
If they're laying on the horn like that,
it's
I'm bringing my honey.
I think sometimes people think you're kind of sitting by the door waiting for somebody to drive in.
Just come up and knock on the door. Knock on the door.
Yeah.
So I even went out there with my blower and blew off the leaves and all the cobwebs and all that kind of stuff around the door to make it look like, hey, maybe they're home. Matter of fact, I need to just make a sign that says "knock for honey." But
I used to go. That kind of reminds me. You have signs like that. I was driving for a buddy hauling product, and I'd have to go to this one place to empty and have to drive the truck up on the scale and whatnot. And it was such a place that they didn't have a full-time scale operator. So you'd have to honk your horn and get the guy to come out of the other building to come and weigh in. And the sign said, honk your horn loudly to get service. And I'm thinking,
I can't control how loud the horn is.
One volume, man. That's all you're going to get. Honk my horn loudly.
We've got one of those skills at my work too.
Every time I went in and laughed, honk loudly.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Mike got his package. Good. So yeah, it's been crazy. Joey, you gonna get any of that storm that's coming across there?
Well, last time I looked, it didn't look like we was going to get much out of it, but maybe a little rain. But
My daughter's gonna be evacuating Tampa and coming up here because it's supposed to cut straight across the state right there where she's at, Category 3.
yeah, they had it going straight toward Tampa last time I looked at it.
Yeah, that's where she's just south of Tampa there in Riverview. But yeah, she's coming up this way. So I have my little guy for a few days.
There you go.
Ride him around on the mower.
Is he going to eat you out of house and home?
Probably.
That's
That boy can
comment
eat
on
already.
it. And I wanted to say, the honey is probably one of the easiest things to store.
Yeah, as long as the bucket doesn't crack, you're good.
Well, yeah, I mean that beyond the obvious, keep it clean, but it doesn't. You don't have to keep it in any particular environment, right? It can be warm, it can be cold, it can be warm and then cold and then cold and then warm, and it doesn't hurt it. Here,
Right.
it's great here if I can put it in one of my unheated buildings. It just freezes solid and everything's good. So it's pretty forgiving. It's there's not very many things I like about winter, but one of the things is I can put a bunch of honey in my truck. It'll freeze solid overnight in the truck. It just sits in there, no problem. In the summer, I can't leave creamed honey in my truck because it'll loosen up the set on the cream, so I have to take it out.
Honey, no more.
I did make my first.
What'd you say,
I made my first baker's honey in my warming cabinet. I put some honey in there. Never had it. The temperature doesn't typically get hot enough to where it might get dark, but it doesn't change the flavor. But this honey definitely tasted not. It tasted burnt a little bit. So I don't know how that happened. But
I've darkened honey over time at not a terribly high temperature, like 40 C. So you can do the math on what that is.
Yeah.
I've held it at 40 C for 3 or 4 or 5 days, and then I could see it starting to get dark.
I'll have to cycle it in. Actually, it'd probably be better just to load it up, turn on the warmer, come back a week later, just unplug the whole thing, or 5 days later, just unplug it, right? And then it'll be good. And then next time I need to decrystallize, I guess plug it back in.
I prefer to stay just one step ahead of the customer or the store, right? I don't want to decrystallize the honey over and over again. I just want to do it one time.
Right.
So I'll let everything granulate. I'll get it all packed in jars. It'll granulate solid here. And then I'll just take that, I'll warm it up, take it to the store. And it'll stay liquid for quite a few months here.
Jim Hughes, enjoyed it, Bob, but I have to leave. Thanks. All right, later, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I've been definitely with the work and the stuff I've had going on, man. I've been AFK or MIA, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
From the keyboard. I did contact Joseph this week, though, and was like, Joey, if you want to go live. You went live last night, too.
Yeah.
Don't get sucked in, man. Because once you get sucked in, there's no going back. People don't like it when you go back. They want you to do it all the time. So, I mean, it's fun. I enjoy doing this, but I mean, it's not fun when you're not feeling well.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get feeling better soon.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I still been going to work and plugging along with that. So,
Well, thanks for dropping in, Doug.
I think Joey gets bored easy. And he came to the wrong spot here. Look, Todd's so bored he's not even talking anymore.
No, I'm just I can't jump in here. So
So what's next, Joey? What's going on next in your bee world?
I actually got some singles I need to move, but I probably we've got our little community here, or the town next to me has a factory, and it's a pretty big deal in the town, and it kind of shuts everything down. And we take our camper out there every year and just spend the whole week at the fair. I won't do much beekeeping related stuff for another week or two.
Right.
So unless I fool with these singles between now and then, I got some singles I want to fatten up a little bit, and I'm hoping I got one or two of them I can actually maybe put a second box on them. I like to go through winter if I can.
Yeah.
And double down here, but I don't gonna have that.
to all those people that like the single brood management, I am not doing it again this year. So I know I started out doing singles, but I'm gonna run doubles just for honey. For me, I don't know. I'm kind of checking it out. I don't know if I want to do doubles or do singles. Last year, I think, was kind of a fluke. So I want to double check and make sure that that doubles are the way I want to go. Right now, singles are still the way for me.
I think doubles are a little more forgiving.
They are.
So it buys you a little extra time for swarming, right?
Yeah. For me, doubles just, they're easier for me.
Especially if you're in an area where they've never quit flying,
Yeah. And,
I found that this year with mine too, because I made up those few doubles, it's 30, 38 or whatever. And, I just found that because of the pressure of the season, when I have to harvest honey and feed bees and treat and do washes and extract and blah, 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 I found that the fact that there was quite a few doubles out there was a real stress reliever for me when it came to especially, getting feed on right away and everything. Especially with my home yard, because it's a big yard and it's tough to harvest the whole thing kind of quickly so that then I can feed right away. And that's what you have to do with singles. Boy, you harvest the honey on a single, you got to get the feed on. And when there's 75 or more colonies in one yard, you can't feed any of them until you take all the honey off, because you don't want them to rob syrup and store it in your honey supers.
Yeah, see, I like getting into a rhythm. When I get into a rhythm, it's automatic for me. And so singles does that better for me, at least, than doubles. I don't know why, but I can roll better with singles. So, like I said, I'm just going to try it again this year. But you know what? As far as swarming, I'm going to have, I'm up to my eyeballs in drawn comb right now. I've got so much drawn comb. I'm going to give them plenty of room, on top of them right away. And hopefully that will ease up the pressure, population pressure inside the boxes. So we'll see what happens. But, they're bees. They do what they want to do when they want to do it. And we will never, ever, for sure, stay on their timeline. So I don't know.
So you think your potential customer will call you about making mead? You told me, but you probably didn't tell anybody else.
Yeah, so I went to a local brewery last night with a buddy, and he and I were sitting there.
Purely sales call.
Huh?
Purely a sales call.
Yeah, okay.
That way you can deduct everything.
But we noticed a we noticed there was no meat on the menu, and so the owner, which I've seen him in there before, he was there, and so I asked him. I said, hey, how come you guys don't do meat? And he says, well, we don't have a license for it, or I can't remember his exact excuse, but it's something like that. And I said, well, as of right now, as of January 1st, you could. There goes Joey. You can make meat. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah. I said, look it up. And I said, well, if you start making meat, you're going to need honey. And I pointed out the window of the establishment. I said, my bees are like 1 mile that way. And he goes, you can't get fresher than that. And I said, no, you can't. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully it works out. But then
the guy that I was having a beer with, he and his son make mead every once in a while. And he said 150 pounds of honey would make 60 gallons of mead. So,
I thought it was 3 pounds to the gallon.
I don't know what it is. The brewer agreed. The owner said, yeah, that's about right. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Just
picture.
I'm actually going to have to step out. Sorry.
actually, well, I mean, we can call it. I mean, it's been we've been on an hour almost, and
Well, you can hang out for a little bit yet if you want. No problem.
well, I actually have some stuff to do too. But and this was impromptu, and you got gunline bees here in a little while going on. So
Yeah,
And
great.
the Packer game is about to start anyway, so I got to get.
well, you call it a game when the Packers play.
Packers, is that like honey Packers or what?
Yeah.
What is that?
Green Bay Packers.
If you put Honey Packers against the Green Bay Packers, the Honey Packers would win.
Oh, come on now. You're just all high and mighty because your team is 4-0 or 5-0, whatever.
5-0 now.
Don't worry.
Only
You're not
one
even
of
happy.
Hey,
Yeah, thanks.
when the Vikings do good, I have to brag on them because they only do it like once every, decade or two, 15 years or so.
Yeah,
but-
we'll see what happens.
But yeah, we can call it. We'll call it for now. Hopefully I feel better by Tuesday night to do the Tuesday night thing. But anyway, it was good to see you guys.
Yeah, it was nice to chat to everybody. I got some pressing things I got to get to.
All right. Well,
I took yesterday off, so even though it's Sunday, I can't just
It's
take the
double
job.
time today.
Yep, double time today.
all right, guys. Well, y'all have a good day, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Okay.
You have a good one, everyone. And Russell K is absolutely right. Green Bay. Oh no, he's not. I'm sorry. I misread that as the line was going by. Never mind. Russell K.
He's a Packer. Well,
Russell K.
well, he's in Minnesota, so he's probably a
No,
Viking.
that's right. I thought.
All right. Anyway, guys, have a good day.
Have a good day,
Bye.
everybody.